armor down. Good morning. Ringing the bell to train. Ringing the bell to train. Good one. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you slept well. Let's go ahead and get going here. We'll talk about the title of this week and the theme of this week after we train. So go ahead and get yourself squared away so we can begin the practice. All right. Find your seat. Settle in. If you've never interacted with an Armor Down mindfulness training before, here are the 4 steps. First step is taming the mind, which means bringing the mind into the present moment. We do that through our senses. And so what that means is I guide you to pay attention to your senses. Second step is getting to the body, feeling the body. We go through feeling the body through chunks. So we start at the base and then work our way up. Third piece is working with breathing. This week we'll be working with some breath holds, because the theme of this week is all about feeling the inner world. You got to feel it to heal it. So we're going to work on kind of perceiving what kind of things to look for. And then the final part is setting intentions, or taking what we have learned in the practice and sending it into the day. None of this is done exclusively for relaxation. You can get relaxation, but ultimately the reason why we train is to be the best versions of ourselves more often than not. So with that, go ahead, get yourself settled in. Let's begin. About slowing down. First, settling into what you're seeing. What do you see? Light and shadow, color, shapes. Look for shapes. Movement, stillness. And then with your eyes kind of comfortable with what's around you, either close them or cast your gaze downward. Go right into sound. Your senses are always taking place in the present moment. So what you're hearing right now, what you're paying attention to right now, is reality. Again, giving your mind something to do while your senses take up your attention. Give your mind the task of assessing where sounds are being heard. What kind of sounds are you hearing? People sounds, nature sounds, machine sounds. For the warrior community, it's situational awareness, something you've done 1,000 times before. Once you've established your awareness through sight and now sound, Go closer in. Temperature, touch. How are you perceiving the temperature of your room, where you are? What parts of your body are open to the air? What parts of your body are covered by clothing or blanket? Notice temperature. Closer still, sense of taste. Notice the mouth. Notice the moisture in the mouth. Taste in the mouth. Different feelings, textures in the mouth. There's the kind of smoothness of the teeth. Versus the kind of softness of the sides of the cheek. You might notice how if you took your tongue to the roof of your mouth and kind of flicked it around a little bit, you might get a tickle sensation. Go closer still, sense of smell. Just take the time to study your sense of smell. Again, they call the mind the monkey mind, because it jumps around. But you give a monkey something that's interested in, and it'll settle, and it'll get focused. And so the same thing happens with our minds. It's like, hey, mind, you smell anything? And the mind goes, I don't know. And you go, okay, well, here, pay attention to this. And the mind settles and starts to notice. And what's nice is that the more times you get the monkey mind to settle, the more settled it becomes. So as we move into second bell, you have a more settled mind, a mind more settled on the present moment. The mind more settled on the present moment. Send your attention into your ground. That's the area where your body is connected to the ground beneath you. Maybe that's a couch. Maybe that's a chair. Maybe that's an armor down meditation cushion. Notice where you're connected. Notice what's connecting you. What parts of the body are connected. If you're seated with your feet flat on the ground, notice the bottoms of your feet. Notice your rear end on the chair or on the couch. Paying attention. From there, move into the pelvis. The pelvis is the first region that we start to kind of settle into and receive information from. You can imagine that there's 6 sectors that we're going to visit, and in each sector we're going to be looking for sensational cues, tracking sensation. So what we're doing in the pelvis is what the same thing an officer would do, reaching out to a squad or a platoon in the field. What's going on? Give me a sit rep. What do you need? So we're doing the same thing with the pelvis. Maybe moving the pelvis slightly would give you some information, or maybe you can tell the way you're balanced. Maybe the pelvis wants to kind of shift a little bit, and do so. It's your call. Setting the pelvis then sets the rest of the spine. So as we move up from the pelvis into the core, there's an opportunity here mostly to just let the core out. Let the core be without effort. Typically the body holds tension kind of at different levels. And that's just part of being alive and upright. What we do is when we go through the body, we look for any of those tense areas that don't need to be tense or don't need to be any more tense or could be less tense. The core is a great place to recognize this. From the core, travel up to the heart space. Space of the heart, lungs, ribs, collarbones, shoulder blades. Lot of stuff here. Lot of stuff here. Maybe some movement would feel good through this region. Some shoulder rounds, some scapular movement, some shifts left and right. It's entirely your call. Again, what you're doing is you're interacting with your body. And each time you interact with it, the more information or the more a comfort level of communication develops. Now from here, moving into the throat, and here you can kind of assess how deep you are. It's a physiological phenomena that happens as you become more and more present. The body slows, awareness increases, and sensations that didn't show up before become perceivable again, or perceivable for the first time. And so you can test that against the feelings that you feel as you breathe. So as you breathe, can you feel air moving up and down your throat? If you can feel air moving up and down your throat, see if you can feel temperature difference between air traveling in and down and out and up. Maybe as you're quiet enough and you follow that air in your throat, maybe you can quiet enough, soften enough to feel the gentle movement that your heart, the beating of your heart, is creating in your body. Now, as you let your heart kind of create this little sway in your body, come up through the throat, into the jaw, and into the head. Notice your ears. Notice your forehead. Soften the eyebrows. Soften the muscles behind the eyes. Soften the nose and the cheeks, the top lip, the bottom lip, and even the chin. Now with your whole body aligned, see if you can get that kind of little wave of your heartbeat. Just boop, 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 boop. Just creating the tiniest bit of movement in your body. And we'll move into third bell. Moving into third bell is the breath. So don't do anything other than just take your full inhale all the way in. And let it go. Just breathe in all the way. Notice where the breath goes. And let it go. Now take your left arm, cross it over your body, press into your chest, and take your full inhale and exhale. And as you breathe out, see if you can feel the way your arm moves. Switch. Take your left hand off, put your right hand on your body, take that elbow, press it in, breathe in, feel it, feel it. Now, cover both arms over your chest. Cover both arms over your chest. And then as you inhale, I want you to imagine your chest lifting your arms up and away. Breathe in. And let it go. Now, take your hands, put them on your sides, sides of your belly. Kind of, not all the way down, but kind of where your lower ribs and your belly connect. Rest your elbows. Don't let your shoulders get up towards your ears. And do it again. This time, take the breath down. Feel your belly expand. Feel the belly move under the fingers. Do that one more time on your own. And now, what I want you to do is I want you to play the alphabet game. So the alphabet game is all about seeing how far you can get in the alphabet on an exhale. And so what you do is like follows. You can kind of hear, or you can take a look. It's up to you. You can have your eyes open now if you like. But we're going to play around with this notion of what happens when your breath goes all the way out, and what do you feel when that happens? Remember, we're focusing on feeling the inner environment, feeling the inner world. And feeling the inner world is feeling a kind of a complex coming together of the biological, the physiological, and the emotional. And all that kind of comes together to form these sensational kind of upswellings. And when these sensational upswellings occur, oftentimes we don't see them. We participate with them by thinking about them as opposed to interacting with them as they are in the moment in the body. So we want to get to the body here. So here's how the ABC game works. So you take your deep breath in, and then as you exhale through your mouth doing the alphabet. So it sounds like this. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Out of air. Totally out of air. And then back to normal. So the game is to say the ABCs. You can whisper them, you can do them out loud. But the goal is to keep air pushing out. Keep air pushing out. So it's a way to get all the air out of your system so that you can feel what it's like to be with the air all out of your system. What you'll notice is your body will go through a experience of change, and inside that experience your body will want you to breathe back in. And so your job is to feel that edge. Feel that edge. Be with that edge, that internal edge. Sit with it for just a moment. Just feel it. Just feel it. And then breathe in. Try to have as much kind of calmness as possible. But then breathe in and notice what happens. Notice what happens. Again, the goal is to get into the feelings of the body as your body responds to this slightly stressful inducing experience. So when you're ready, take your full breath in and begin. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L M N O P Q R S T U E. Just come back to settled breathing. You might notice a change in your internal world. The internal world is different for everybody, but they're common elements. They're common elements that we can compare, contrast, and talk about. What we just did was we just did a full out hold, so we let all the air out. Now what I want you to do is I want you to do a full in hold, okay? Full in hold, and you're going to study what it feels like at the inside of your hold, and you're not going to do a whole lot of breathing. It's going to just be a quick breathe in. It's not going to be like going underwater where you're no, I don't want that. We just want I'm just going to say stop, and you're just going to stop your breath wherever it is, on the inhale, on the exhale, whatever. Just stop your breath, whatever it is, and just notice it. So just come to normal breathing. And wherever you are in your breath cycle, stop. Hold until you start to feel your body say it's time to shift, it's time to change. Just hold that edge. Hold that edge as long as it feels safe. Don't push too far. Hold that edge, and then back to normal. Maybe you experienced the way the body kind of rebounds with sensation. You know, if you kind of put yourself in kind of a little bit of a stress-inducing environment, and you let that stress-inducing environment go, you might experience a sense of, that's nice. Oh, a little bliss state. Lasts just a moment, but you might experience that. So with that, just go through 2 rounds of full inhale and exhale to kind of even you out, and we'll move into 4th bell. So, you got to feel it before you can heal it. All right? And that's the theme for the week. And then today, of course, is all about violence and guns. So the title was, I only feel alive when I fire a weapon. So let me point a couple things out about firing a gun. Okay? One is there's an element of deadliness. So that element, that edge, provides a elevation of excitement, an elevation of awareness. Okay, that's number one. Number two, your attention is focused on the present moment, so it's very much in the now. The reason why that is if it's not, your friends won't let you shoot with them, the range won't let you shoot, your NCOIC won't let you shoot, you can't shoot. So you have to be present. You have to be focused. Muzzle awareness, trigger finger awareness, what's behind you, downrange, all that stuff. Got to be there. When it comes to actually shooting itself, front side focus, body alignment, body posturing, relaxation, breath, all these things taking place. And then the boom, the boom of the weapon, the power behind it, the explosion, right? Now, if you're a warrior, right, and you've trained in sensational suppression, emotion suppression, putting the mission first, if you've trained in that realm and you've gotten good at it, then it's probably going to take big experiences to feel stuff, right? So going to the range is going to have a lot of quality moment to moment experience. Awesome, right? It's awesome. I love going to the range, love firing weapon. Heck, even when I see my weapon, even when I see my firearm, basically if it's mine, right? If it's my weapon. So it's my grandfather's 20 gauge shotgun that he gave me when I became an Eagle Scout. It's the Glock 17 I bought when I traded in the weapon I bought after my enlistment bonus, and bought an H&K 45, which was too big of a weapon for me. Traded that in, got a Glock 17, and I also have a Glock 19. Whenever I see those weapons, I feel good. I love it, right? It's a good feeling. Because what it represents, you know, and one of the things we've got to understand is that we're not just dealing with our identities, we're dealing with a central nervous system. And we understand our identities are smart because our identities use language and da-da-da-da-da-da. But what we don't seem to understand is that our central nervous system is smart. And so when our central nervous system sees things, interacts with things, it has a feel for things. We don't typically interact with that feel because largely we're interacting with the mind is offering us. The mind is kind of the aggregate of our brain and our body in our society. It's us and outside. Our central nervous system is the outside world, but it's also what we're feeling inside. So it's not so connected to the outside world like the mind is. It's more connected to the world of the moment. The mind is more connected to the world of the past and the future and expectation and identity. The central nervous system is more connected to the present moment. And the central nervous system recognizes the qualities of the present moment through the senses. And then based on the information that the senses are giving us and how we're paying attention to the moment, the central nervous system responds accordingly. So when you see your weapon, your central nervous system recognizes that weapon and immediately creates a relationship to that weapon through sensation. And for people who hate weapons, hate guns, it's the opposite, right? So instead of a pleasant sensation, it's a rebellion, a pushing away, a revulsion. Now, what we typically do inside these states is we interact with them with our thoughts, as opposed to interacting with them with what we feel. And so our thoughts are, why do I feel this way? What does that mean? Our awareness is, what do I feel? Where's it located? What's its intensity? What's its direction? What's its depth? And what's its size? So there's a difference. One is past future, one's present. One is kind of a quantity. The other is a quality. So these are subtle differences that start to grow as you deepen your practice of mindfulness. Now, the point of pointing this out is that the pitfall is, okay, the pitfall is if the only time you're really feeling alive is with these big experiences on the range, or these big experiences in general, right? You know, people who motorcycle junkies, drive really, really fast, you know, edge jumpers. This is where people feel alive. And part of what that alive feeling is just a calm presence. A calm presence. Another way to describe it is the alpha brainwave frequency. This is where people get that good feeling. And it's just the best. It's also stimulated by drugs and alcohol. So if that's the place that you're getting your feeling, you've got to pay attention to these practices, in particular to retrain yourself to be more subtly aware to these other feelings. Because so much of what creates the ability to feel big things in these subtler realms, and we'll get more into that at the other half of the week, the Art of Peace side, but so much of getting to those subtler realms and getting into feeling more alive in general, is becoming more and more attuned to less kind of big and noticeable feelings. So the stuff that you push down as a warrior in your training, et cetera, you got to open back up to that stuff. You got to armor down to feel that stuff again, because it's that stuff over time that really can make a difference in healing some of the stuff that you're experiencing if you have post-traumatic stress disorder. You got to feel it first before you can heal it, because if it stays in the realm of the mind and stays in the realm of thinking, you don't get to the body, you can't heal it, because you're just addressing its identity. You're not addressing its actual kind of framework, and that's the body. So today, I encourage you to set an intention around being very mindful of your feelings. Very mindful of your feelings. What you feel. What you feel. Now, tomorrow we'll go over what to do about what you feel. But today, I just want you to pay close attention to feeling as much as you can. And so the trick is to watch your mind. Your mind, the monkey mind, will go, what am I feeling? Is that what I'm feeling? Have I felt that before? What does that feeling mean? Does that mean I feel this? Does that mean I feel that? I wonder if I feel this. I wonder if I feel that. So that's not what you want to do. When you start to feel something, what you want to start to feel something is you simply just want to try to locate it in the body. Just locate it. Locate where you're feeling what. I think I put a great picture of feelings that the body can show you when you're stressed on the Facebook page. So check that out. But see if you can feel something. Just really try to feel the location of where you feel what you feel, and just that. Just set an intention to feel in the body. Feel in the body. See if you can feel something today, and then tomorrow we'll go over more about what to do about it. And then the last thing I want to say is I'm taking a week off next week. So this will be the last week before my vacation. Next week, I'm going to take a week off because we're going on vacation. All right, Armor Down. Great to see you. I'll see you tomorrow.